very tough night all around.
It looked like the last game we saw Jimmy Butler in a Heat uniform, nondescript, with a whimper.
2 points, 1 of 6 in the first half. Miami had a 17-point halftime lead, and then Carlos Boozer. This game is completely out of. But look at how does he score on this play? Someone explain that one to me.
Great touch right there. This could have had a hell of a game last night.
Yeah, he throws it up and it gets it to go. Somehow loses it and gets it back. Butler, in the meantime, had 11 points in his return, and they were never in this game. Heat win at 112-86. Here was Jimmy after the action.
I mean, this was a huge part of my career. So I continue to say that I'm very grateful, and I ain't spiteful for it towards nobody. Like I always say, I'm grateful for the opportunity, love the fan base. It's not bad. It's not all bad.
All right, Booze, what is the first thing we want to say about Jimmy Butler's game last night?
I think the Heat took this game personal, and in particular, Bam Adebayo did a great job defensively. They were all over the place. Bam was aggressive from the beginning, had 27 points, 8 rebounds, did a fantastic job guarding Jimmy. I think they wanted to show.
Say about Jimmy Butler's game last night.
I think the Heat took this game personal, and in particular, Bam Adebayo did a great job defensively. They were all over the place. Bam was aggressive from the beginning, had 27 points, 8 rebounds, did a fantastic job guarding Jimmy. I think they wanted to show this is Heat culture. They held the Warriors to 86 points last night. Outstanding message from the Miami Heat.
When Jimmy Butler sort of questioned the idea that there really is such a thing as Heat culture, you think that bothered them?
I think they took that personal in that locker room. They came in that locker room and was like, we are not going to lose this game. We're going to win this game, and we're going to show what Heat culture is.
And perhaps they did a little bit of that. How about it, Jay? How about what we saw from Butler last night against the Heat?
Greeny, my biggest takeaway would be that Jimmy Butler definitely walked away with the L, but more importantly, he walked away with full custody of the Miami Heat. So regardless of a poor performance or them not having Steph Curry, every time Jimmy Butler looked over to the sideline and saw Steph Curry and knew what his team had a chance to fight for, he's going to feel good walking away from this situation.
At the end of the day, he got what he wanted out of all of this, and we'll see. In the meantime, Bobby, you made an observation. We played you the reception that Butler got in Miami last night. You had an observation about that.
I did. I want to be careful how I say this because I do have to fly home to Florida today. I don't want them not allowing me in the state. I was embarrassed last night. I was embarrassed watching that and looking at what the Heat fans did to give a man who quit on you. He quit on them at the end of the year, at the middle of the year. He quit on them because he didn't get paid by the Miami Heat. And I know he took you to 2 NBA finals and everything he did great for you, but to give that man a standing ovation, even if it was 50% of that, that bothered me dearly.
Really?
As far as that. It really did. And I would have done the video tribute. I still would have done it of the Heat organization, but and Steve Kerr said it after. Basically, it was like almost like fair-weathered fans who were like, "Oh, it's okay," you know. Guy quit on you at the, in the middle of the year. He went to Golden State. He got his money, right? He got his $111 million.
Right.
And now this is what we're left with. Mm-hmm. And before tonight, the reality was the Miami Heat were a nondescript, vanilla team with no identity. Mm-hmm. And you saw Jimmy Butler finally bring out the identity, whether it be with Bam Adebayo and Khalil Ware, the two bigs, the ability to shoot the ball. They couldn't make a basket in their last 10 games. Mm-hmm. And that just kind of irked me last night.
What do you think of that, Booze? I mean, you've lived this a little bit, right? Going from one place to another, the reaction when you came back the first time and everything. What did you make of the way the Miami fans handled that return last night?
I mean, it was probably part so because he brought them to 2 NBA finals, and they weren't expected to be there. Nobody had them in the NBA finals, but they got there, even though they lost those finals. He overachieved with that team in Miami, in my opinion. They didn't have the one superstar that can get them over the hump, but at the same time, it was a divorce, like Jay Will said, and maybe it didn't go the way the fans wanted it to. So you have mixed emotions. I've been there before. Okay,
let's leave that there for the moment. I do want to re-explore that a little, but let me run the floor because we have a bunch of other stuff from the NBA last night. Jay Will, SGA scored 32 points. OKC beat the Kings by 16. You got the Thunder or the Field in the Western Conference?
Greeny, I'm going with the OKC Thunder. It's just their versatility that they have defensively. They're a team that can best match up with the Boston Celtics. I don't think there are a lot of teams in the Western Conference that have all the chess pieces that OKC does.
Bobby, let's stay in the West because one of the teams we never talk about out there is Houston. Jalen Green had 32 in a win over the Hawks, including a monster dunk. They're 2 games ahead of Denver for the 2 seed. Are they contenders?
They are 9-1 in their last 10 games, and nobody's talking about them because they're so young. And young in the playoffs.
There is Houston. Jalen Green had 32 in a win over the Hawks, including a monster dunk. They're 2 games ahead of Denver for the 2 seed. Are they contenders?
They are 9-1 in their last 10 games, and nobody's talking about them because they're so young. And young in the playoffs is pretty dangerous.
Right.
It could go either way here. So I would certainly put Houston right up there with any of these teams.
Meaning if we're looking for
Western Conference Finals.
Understood. Western Conference Finals. And then Booze, yeah, Josh Hart and Karl Anthony Towns with triple doubles as the Knicks beat the Mavericks last night. OG Anunoby chipped in with 35. If the Knicks get Jalen Brunson back healthy, I ask this on behalf of every Knick fan that I hear from in the streets as I walk around all the time. Can they beat Boston in a second-round matchup?
No, they cannot. Boston's too deep. They got 3D guys. They got their depth is outstanding. They got guys that can knock down the 3, they can guard their yard, and they help each other defensively. Boston's a favorite coming out the Eastern Conference.
They are the favorite. You give the Knicks, on a scale of 1 to 10, 5?
6 games.
They could go 6 games.
6 games.
Okay, 6 games.
Best case scenario, 6 games.
That's not the scale I was looking for. Look at Jay Will. Look at Jay Will's face. All right, we have to come back to that. I got to run. We have much more coming up on that as we go. Plus, we head out west. Luka, LeBron, the Hollywood honeymoon. Is it over? Are the Lakers in danger of being in the play-in? We'll get